place to go. Grab a star of rock with Mike and Dan, metal band. Grab a star of rock and hold on tight as hard as you can. Keyboard's here, it's time for a party. Come and see, got the comment started. Grab a star of rock with Mike and the band, metal band. Grab a star of rock and hold on tight as hard as you can. Grab a star of rock with Mike and the band, metal band. Grab a star of rock and hold on tight as hard as you can. Grab a star of rock. Grab a star of rock.
Hey, Dan. Hey, everybody. How you doing tonight?
I'm doing good, and you?
I'm good. This is the very first show on my new PC. So we have a whisper quiet fan now. No more of that loud humming, but my volume settings are really messed up. So I sound really loud and everything else sounds really quiet. And I just like some audience feedback on how it's sounding, and I'll try to adjust for it as we go. But
To me, it sounds good, Derek.
okay, for me, I'm really loud and you're quiet, but it's the first time with this new PC, and we'll see how this goes.
Well, I can start yelling if you want.
Hey, that sounds perfect to me.
I'm not going to do that.
Thank you, Dan, and thank you, audience, for joining tonight. We got Johnny Klauser in the house. I saw we have Henry in the house, and some other folks too. Thank you. Say hello in the comments. This is the Friday night music and mental health episode, part 3. This is the third one that we've done. And Dan was actually in the comments the very first time we did this, and you had some good questions. And I thought, well, let's get Dan on when we can get him on. Let's get him on, and let's talk some music and let's talk some mental health. So thank you for doing this, and thank you for wearing that very nice looking shirt that you have on.
There you go.
This is going to be a great show. I would like to dedicate this show to my co-host down in California. She's had a rough couple of days, and she was, in fact, important to part of this episode. We're going to be talking about seasonal affective disorder, and she was part of my strategy in 2023 for dealing with that. But let's just start off real quick with some music, because it's music and mental health. So I'm going to take the lead here. And I'm going to talk about an album that was very, very important to me. I think you own this one yourself.
Yes, sir.
You know, you hear about
I
a lot.
have them all. Yeah,
of course. This and Hotter Than Hell were my first two. I got them in the 8th grade, the very beginning of 8th grade, and that's when bullying really, really picked up for me. It really amplified to the point where I was faking sick to get out of school and stuff. But when I was home listening to Kiss, it just felt like I had some kind of power over those guys, you know? And we talk a lot about how music feels empowering to us, and bands like Twisted Sister always stood up against bullies. And I think Kiss is one of those bands that also stands up to bullying. They were the kind of band that kids got bullied for liking. So, you know, they kind of put it right back in their face.
I'm so glad you said that. Yeah.
Right. Exactly. And I was too, you know, we can talk about that, but they had a song on a later album called The Elder. They had a song called I Believe in Me. And to me, when I heard that, that was a very powerful statement. Johnny Klauser in the comments, I forgot about this, but I think it was yesterday was the 50th anniversary of Kiss Alive. I forgot about that. We have Chris Saar in the house. I actually really did have mono. That was not faked. I could not go to school for the last 2 months. But if you remember, I missed shop class a lot. I tended to be sick on a lot of Thursdays. That was the day I had to take the bus down to Cortland School and or St. Joseph's School on Cortland, and stuck in the back of that bus with those bullies. And I tended to miss like the last several Thursdays of school before I actually did get mono. And I was so happy to have mono and be sick and be home, to be honest with you. Aside from feeling crappy, I really liked being home and sick. So that's my first musical pick. 2 days ago, thank you, Johnny. Oh, we have meat in the house.
Oh,
Yes. Yeah, thanks, Meat. I appreciate that comment. That is very true. It is, I think they said about 70% studio, about 30% live. The drums are pretty much live, and a lot of the rest were recorded in the studio.
it's not. Yeah, they say it's not as live or it's not as studio as you think it is. But yeah, there's a lot. But it was made to replicate the experience of going to a live concert from Kiss, and they boosted the crowd. They did a whole bunch of. But to me, it worked. Like whether it was a studio or a real live album, it's you put that on and you were there. You felt like you were there in the crowd. It was that well done.
It really
That's
sounds
special.
live.
Yeah.
And like we've both heard a lot of live albums, including ones by Kiss, where you can tell that you can sometimes tell which parts were overdubbed in the studio, but this sounds amazingly live.
Mm-hmm.
Did you want to start with an album that meant something to you?
I'll start with well, why not put two Kiss albums? So I'll explain. I moved here in '84 in Ottawa, where I am, and I didn't know anybody. So this album, when it came out, and this is actually my second favorite Kiss album. So I was, you have to understand the point of view where I was a very influenceable. Is that the word? I was easily influenced. There you go. That's a better way to say it. And I listened to the crap out of this. And you said it best earlier, is it wasn't cool to listen to Kiss at that time. It was like, Kiss, oh, that's old, listen to Rat or Motley Crue or whatever. So in the theme of tonight, I felt, well, I had a buddy, but I'm going to leave him aside for now because we were both Kiss fans. That was a big friendship. But overall, I felt very alone, let's say, with listening to Kiss because no one else did except for my buddy, but I'm not going to talk about him right now. And I fell in love with this album because it was the first time I actually bought a Kiss album new, like a new release. So in '85, I'm like, you know what? I finally got a little bit of money and I know that there's a new album from Kiss. I want to be there. And of course, at the store, I was going, do you have the Kiss Asylum? I didn't know how to pronounce. I didn't know what an asylum was how old was I in '85? I was 13. So I didn't know what an asylum was. So it was like, you have Asylum? No, we don't have it yet. And I went week after week, I didn't know how it worked with new releases. But yeah, I absolutely love this album. Gets a lot of flack for being, the glam or hair metal album by Kiss. By look, probably more than sound, but yeah, I absolutely love this one. I will defend this till I die. It's got me through. Like I know this one by heart, probably one of the more better records, and I know it as much by heart. But it got me through lots of just being at home listening to that album. Just put me back in a good mood. So there you go.
So same story. I was 13, and that was my first new Kiss album. It came out a few weeks after I got Alive. And yeah, same story. I loved that album at the time. I still have a soft spot for it today. But I don't think it had any anthems on it that I really felt were about, that empowering kind of feeling that I wanted.
Yeah.
But, the reason I wanted to talk about the childhood bullying stuff is because you don't realize it, but it affects you as an adult.
Big time. No, go ahead. Sorry.
I was going to say, like, I until I kind of learned to be more assertive, I was very much responding in the same way that the child did to the bullies. It's like back off, try to protect myself, not try to stand up for myself. And it took a long time to sort of change that and learn to be assertive. I would say that hung on to me for like 20 years, maybe longer, 30 years.
Oh, yeah.
And I didn't realize it for a long time, but patterns repeat.
Mm-hmm. No, for myself, it was all through intermediate. So grade 7 and 8 and high school with that one same guy. And it just it affected my whole high school and intermediate, like part of me loved high school, but and I was actually, when you asked me to do this episode, I was like, oh my God, like I'm going to have to go talk about, I mean, I'm fine talking about that guy now, though, whatever, but oh my God, that guy in high, just literally, and I wasn't a thick-skinned guy. I was an easy target at the time. I'll admit it there. But yeah, that's this one guy. Just I don't even know the reason why. I'll tell you later later on in the episode there when it all started, because it's fresh in my mind, and I was like, if I could go back in time and undo that one little thing that I said or did, I would gladly do that. So anyway.
I see we have a few people going to see Spinal Tap tomorrow, including the Meat Man. And we do
Sunday.
have to reconvene. Good.
Sunday.
We do have to reconvene with the three of us to talk about this when the time comes.
Mm-hmm.
So that's cool to see. I think I have to see it sooner than that, Henry, because I promised these guys I'd do a show. I think these are tricky topics. I think when it comes to the bullying thing, I saw history repeat when I started working at the record store, and Uncle Meat will know the person that I'm talking about. But I had a little bit of vindication this week. And that vindication is this. When I was having that issue with that particular person who happened to be my supervisor at the record store, a lot of people just flat out didn't believe me that she could be mean or unfair or whatever. A lot of people never saw that side. But it just so happens that I clicked a link last week. I clicked a link, and that link led to a review of this person in her new job at her news store. And it was a kind of scathing review on this person personally, basically saying that she's been rude and two-faced and all this other stuff. And I was like, wow, there's the proof in writing that validates my entire experience. You know, it's like this person showed two sides, one to me and one to the world. And I didn't know how to respond. So I retreated the same way that I did when I was in, grade school. I retreated and took it. And I did try to alert the superiors of what had happened, but I won't say how that was received, except to say that I never bothered to report any behavior in the future.
Yeah.
There are certain things I can't say because it would basically make some people look so bad that they'd probably get canceled. So anyway, so, I think when you have all this music that is really, you identify with it, I think that really helps. And I spent a lot of time in my bedroom listening to bands like Kiss and, just not necessarily even knowing what the lyrics are really about. Because a lot of time when you're a kid, you don't even understand what the words are about. But
exactly,
you might interpret them in such a way that feels good. Like I Love It Loud, for example. That was something you could pump your fist to and basically close your eyes and shut the bullies out for a little while. A little bit later on, there's this album that came out. And there's a song on here called Primal Scream. And man, if that didn't become the next generation of that kind of Kiss feeling for me, I probably don't need to look up the lyrics, but when I was a little younger, I had to take a little grief. Now that I'm much older, don't put that shit on me. And, there's a theory in psychology that a primal scream is just good and healthy for you. And, you know what? It doesn't have to be a scream, but just getting physically active, playing some air guitar, dancing around your bedroom with your air guitar, doing this, it really helps, And adults can do that too. I mean, it hurts a lot more when we're adults, but we do still do this. I'm certain, Dan, that you've done this. I'm certain of it.
What day are we today? Yes, I have done it this week.
There you go. And doesn't it just feel damn good sometimes?
Oh yeah.
Now I will confess, I'm not the most physically active guy in the world. I know this guy golfs. I've seen him I've seen him post pictures of golfing, but I am not a very physically active guy. So my physical activity has to be something else. And if I'm doing this, that's aerobics. Angus Young, that's aerobics, man.
You do a lot of those at your cottage there, whatever you're doing.
Exactly. Like that's not fake. That's real. I'm doing that. And then I turn on the camera for a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
My point is, I don't want to ignore the physical stuff. You have to be physically active if you want to deal with something like seasonal affective disorder, which we'll get into. But if you're not feeling great, being physically active helps. And it's just one of the first things you do if anybody sees anybody about a mental health issue. One of the first things they do is talk to you about being active. Like, do you go for walks? Do you do exercises? Do you go to the gym or anything like that? They always recommend. I'm no doctor, I'm no counselor, but it gets the chemicals, the juices in the brain going that need to be going, and it helps.
Yes.
Not to mention, if you can be outside, it's good to get sunlight. Vitamin D is something we need to feel good. See, I'm no doctor, I'm no scientist. I'm just giving you what I know. Vitamin D is something that we need to feel good. And so it's good to get out into the sun where you can absorb the sun's rays and your skin produces vitamin D.
Exactly.
I look at Matthias's comment there, accept balls to the wall. That's another one that goes back to my era. But yeah, that's a good one, man. Fight the damned. I mean, that's a powerful anthem, right? And there he is with the DDPY. That's Diamond Dallas Page Yoga. So perfect example of physical activity. And Meat and I will never agree on Motley Crue, but that's okay. That's the last time we're going to see Motley Crue tonight. It's just that one song.
All right.
I tell you, man, like when I was, I don't know, my late teens, early 20s, and lonely and frustrated, just banging out to Primal Scream in the bedroom felt good. And it doesn't have to be air guitar. Air drums works too.
Air bass. Yeah. Oh yeah. You gotta do. It's an inside joke there, but
inside joke, yeah. Although if it's not that inside, if you go to Off the Charts on YouTube, we do talk about this.
It was you know exactly. It's very well explained what this means, and that's been like Mike and I's joke there for 2 months ago. We did that.
Yeah, but it's only with bass. It has to be.
Only with bass.
Yes, and I think Dan, if you go to his channel and you look up a video that he and I did, he might tell that story.
Oh yeah, there's quite a detail. I've never seen Mike laugh as much anyway for that.
Oh God, well,
that was you were like clearing your eyes. They were watering.
You should post a link in the comments.
Okay,
and so we can link to it. But yeah, it's all about that bass. Now, Dan, do you want to show off a second album?
Yeah. So oh my God, what year was that? Early high school. Anyway, that one guy, when I say that he effed up my high school, so that I had to take a summer school class because my grades weren't good for a certain math course, which I hated going to because guess who do you think was sitting right beside me in class? That one guy. So I wasn't concentrating as much in that class, so I ended up having to go to summer school, which is a big bummer at 16 years old to go to. Like you said, activity after each summer school class, and there was it was probably about a month and a half, it wasn't all, by the way, summer school is not all of summer. It's 1 month out of the 2. It's not that bad, but I didn't know that at the time. And I was like down just because I was there. I wasn't with my friends. I was in school. And actually an album that came out that time just reflected the mood of what I was feeling. And it would be Frehley's Comet, Second Sighting. You have no idea how It's Over Now is such a powerful song for me. I don't know, that this album is probably considered one of Frehley's Comet's worst. It clicked with me that summer because I went home and every time I listen to this album, I think of that summer school. There have been other incidents. There was the incident where I was left alone at home because my parents were going up north for a weekend holiday. So they left me Friday. They dropped me off at the summer school. For some reason, I lost my wallet that day, and that wallet had my house key in it. So, and of course, that day, and my grades were great until I had to take that test. That same day, I lost my wallet, and I was like, how am I going to get inside my house? Because I was alone. My parents were like 7 hours away. So during the test, the principal knocked on the door. He found my wallet. The key was inside it, thank God. The $75, though, wasn't no longer, because that was the money I took out for the weekend, you know. But, yeah, that, I don't know, that album. Oh, by the way, that test, when I was in my right frame of mind, was scoring 80s. That test, I still remember the score, 15 on 100. It just like tells you how. But anyway, this album got me through that summer big time because, like I said, I'm not going to put blame on that one guy because I'm sure there was other issues there that could have been solved. But yeah, this album I just find, sure, it's not technically perfect. You know, some songs are hit or miss or whatever, but it's the mood of this album, and especially the song "It's Over Now" is beautiful, great lyrics, and yeah, that got me hooked. Like, I'll defend this album again for a long time because it got me through a very difficult summer that time. So there you go. Frehley's Comet, second sighting.
Okay, so dude, I have so much to comment on. But first,
What's that?
I have so much to comment
Okay,
on. But
go
first, I
ahead.
just want to address Matthias here. I'm going to tell you a story about my first Walkman at the end of the show. I think we'll save it for the end of the show, but I'll tell you a story. It was very important. Mike, thank you so much for watching, and that's an excellent example. The pass, cool swagger out on the schoolyard. Great example. Thank you, Grant. Thank you for watching. Appreciate you, man.
Hey, Grant.
John loves his Walkman. Matthias knows what he's talking about. Henry, I got mine in 86. So you were yeah, that was really early, actually, Henry, when you think about it. 82 was pretty early for walk. They were very expensive. You didn't get wow, it lasted till the 90s.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think 85, 84, 85, I got my first Walkman. I don't even remember, actually. That's a good question. Sorry, go ahead.
Dan, Second Sighting. So that's probably my favorite Frehley's Comet album. I love that album. I love It's Over Now, but there's a song in there called Insane that was kind of a good anthem. Oh, it lasted 1 year. I see. I gotcha. Broke a year. Okay, broke a year or so after that. Got it. Loser in a Fight. Oh yeah, good pick, Keith. Good pick. I also love the closing track, The Acorn Is Spinning, and I had like a PC game, a PC boxing game at the time, and I named my boxer The Acorn.
That sketch, we used to recite it by heart. Now I can't remember it. Well, I remember most of it there. Oh, let's make sure that this
the acorn spins in the third round. You know what I mean? Yeah. Oh my God. Got it. Oh my God! I don't think he's gonna get up. It looks like it's over.
The acorn is over. The game's the game's over.
The acorn's
lost.
Oh, that wicked soloing in that track. That's an amazing track.
The only thing is the drums suck on that. Like, it's very programmed. Like,
okay,
nothing. But anyway,
I wrote a review. We're going off topic here, but I wrote a review of Second Sighting, a glowing review, and a friend of mine from Sweden came on. He said, "Oh, that Jamie Oldacre, he fucking sucks. He's the worst fucking drummer that Ace Frehley's ever had. He sucks. He drums on this." Jamie Oldacre found the review and commented back to him, and he's like, "Well, I'm good enough for Eric Clapton." So
I know. No, it's just that one song. I
don't think it's a great recorded album, but it's my favorite. So that was a very good summer for me. That was a very happy summer.
Well, I'm glad you had a good summer.
Yeah, one of us had to.
Yeah.
Let's talk about seasonal affective disorder. So this is my big challenge every year, is that I start to get depressed as the daylight hours shrink, as it gets colder outside, as we have to start bundling up, when the snow falls, when you have to start driving through traffic jams and storms. And this is something that I struggled with for a long time. I think it kicked in probably after high school. I think it kicked in because before high school ended, I had very active winters. Me and my best friend Bob Shipper, who we talked about and I saw last night, we were active like every single weekend through the winter. We wasted no time.
Yeah,
we did, like, one winter we made cardboard guitars, and we spent a lot of time painting them and making strings and putting the strings on the cardboard guitars and all that other stuff. No, not with me, Matthias. Not with me. Let's kiss. So we were busy, you know, and we recorded comedy sketches on cassette tapes, and we were doing something every single weekend. So it didn't kick in until after high school, when Bob started going to college, and I didn't really have anybody else to hang out with, you know, and that's when the seasonal affective disorder started kicking in, and it got worse as I got older. Like even not having to go to school anymore, you know, when, you know, back to school isn't really a thing, it still kicks in. And I don't know the answer to your question, Henry. I wish I knew. It just started to kick in, and it hits me like Labor Day weekend. So what am I doing about that? Well, I mentioned I wanted to talk about my co-host from California. She really tried to help me out in 2023. I was like, what strategy am I going to try to use this year to try to get through winter? And for her, winter was a novelty. Like, she went on like camping trips or whatever to the mountains, but she'd never seen snow like we get snow here.
Yeah.
And so I was sending her every day for like a month videos of this gigantic snowbank that I drove past on my way to work. So I would send her new videos every day, and it would shrink, and it would grow, and it would grow some more, and it would shrink. And that kind of helped for a while, but I wasn't doing enough. I needed to do more and not just put all my eggs in one basket. I wasn't going out there and being necessarily physically active. I wasn't trying really hard to experience new things in the wintertime and just sort of, I'm going to say, take advantage of the season, really, you know, because that's the proper way for me to look at it. Is it shouldn't be something that I'm dreading. I should be trying to find ways to take advantage of winter. So as time went on, that was great for that year, but it wouldn't have worked long term. It would like trying the same trick again in 2024. It wouldn't have worked. It's like, here's more snowbanks, you know. So I started doing other things like going bowling with my wife. There's that physical activity. She's way better at it than I am. But, you know, that was one thing. Going record shopping in the winter instead of just huddling up in the house and you know, hibernating, actually going out to stores that are maybe a little bit off my regular beaten track and going record shopping, trying to be a little bit more social. This kind of thing is good for being social in the winter too. But there's one thing I'd like to show you. One moment.
Nice leg.
Oh, shit. Thank you. The new computer is bigger than the old computer, so I have to kind of do this Commander Riker thing where I step over it with my leg.
Oh my God, yeah.
This is called a sad light. A sad light. And I'm going to plug it in here and you can see what it looks like. But it's really bright. And basically this is to replace sunlight in an indoor setting. Whoa, that's not even the bright setting.
Jesus. Yeah.
Yeah. You're not supposed to use it for a long period of time. It's like 45 minutes tops or something like that. But you just, you know, put it next to you while you're sitting indoors reading a book or podcasting, whatever you're doing, and it simulates sunlight. So the idea is there is, you know, in the wintertime, you're craving more sunlight that you're not getting as much of, especially here in the Northern Hemisphere. And, you know, I don't know how much this helped, but it was something that I tried. So I'm not going to endorse it and say, go out and buy one of these, but I did try it. I don't know if you're supposed to use it every day or not. I can't remember because I haven't used it in a while, but it is something, it is an alternative. It's really bright.
I saw.
Let me see here. We just get caught up in the comments here. Oh, wow. Yeah. 4 years of night shift. I couldn't do night shift for 4 weekends. Yeah, I suppose there would be because not everybody likes summer.
Yeah, I mean,
winter
for me, I don't mind it. It's the pre-winter and the after winter that downs me with the slush.
Oh,
you have and the overcast. It's, you know, wintertime is almost always overcast. That temperature doesn't really help me, I find there. But I would say more like the probably the spring, like right after it's just like ugly and uncomfortable. I really don't like slush. But
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I understand. It's not for those like I don't know if Johnny Clouser would really know what kind of slush we're talking about because this is like some serious like weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks of your shoes getting soaked every time you get out of your car.
especially the past couple of winters we had here.
Yeah. So like I know what you mean. When you get out of your car and your feet are wet and like let's say you're at work and your feet are wet for like 4 hours, yeah, it gets to you. It really does, and it's dark. Like
A
2023,
soaker, right?
a soaker really sucks.
Oh, I hate those.
But 2023 in particular was the darkest winter that we had here in Canada in like 80 years.
Oh, really?
So, I mean, like overcast skies every day, it gets you down.
Oh, big
And I
time.
understand what Henry means here. Yeah, like I know what you mean. Sometimes, there's a movie called Insomnia that takes place in Alaska with Al Pacino and like Insomnia because it doesn't get dark.
See, I saw 28 Days of Light or Darker. The vampire one that takes place in Alaska.
Oh, I see. That's the opposite season.
But it's always dark.
Matthias has a good point here. It simulating summer indoors, or going out and having a barbecue regardless of the weather. These are good ideas. Listen to Bob Marley. I also do this. Listen to sort of like summery Caribbean Beach Boys kind of music in the wintertime. Johnny Clouser loves the graveyard shift. There you go. And Jake. Hi, Mike and Dan. Linda and I are in a long line wanting to pop in and say hi and give you a big virtual hug and high five for doing this topic. It's not easy. It needs to be talked about more. Thank you, Jake.
He's on vacay right now.
Yeah. Lucky guy. Johnny remembers the slush from living in the North. Okay. I don't know, though, if what he considers the North, I don't know if they get the equivalent to the kind of slush that we get. Because I'm going to say that we probably still have it a lot worse than Johnny's ever even imagined.
Well, okay, John. So I don't know if you know where the line of that separates U.S. and Canada. Mike and I basically live sort of near that line, but I lived 7 hours north of that in Kirkland Lake. You want to talk tough winters? That was like snow banks as high as, I would say 10 feet high at minimum.
And when you're driving, that's called a blind spot.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, let me see. What else did I want to say about this topic? I think I have. Oh, here's something. Don't be afraid of giving yourself healthy things to look forward to, like ordering out a pizza or buying yourself a record or whatever. Like, don't be afraid to treat yourself with a gift on a day that you're feeling pretty crappy.
Mm-hmm.
So long as you're not straining the budget and you don't get in trouble at home with your significant other. Don't be afraid of doing that. Sometimes when I'm having a really crappy weekend, I'll run over to the Toys R Us and I might get a Lego set. I might get a record. Yesterday I got both, although I was having a good day yesterday. I just happened to be in the neighborhood, so I can't go this weekend. Upstate New York, I'm sure, is very similar to what we get here. Buffalo they're just across the river.
I find Buffalo worse than Canada.
There's some great photos on the internet of cars frozen in Buffalo. That's for sure.
Every year there's always one Buffalo Bills game where they're offering free tickets to people who will come and shovel.
There you go.
Once a year. And we don't have that here. We've never had that.
Our winter was really brutal last year, too.
Mm-hmm.
It was really brutal. It was, it didn't really kick in until, partway into the new year, but it really did. When it kicked in with a vengeance.
Oh, yeah.
And I guess the last thing I want to say about this is one thing that I have found to really help my situation is the option to work from home. That makes a huge difference. I have my work laptop with me here.
Mm-hmm.
I can bring it home, and if the forecast is looking bad, if I need to work from home for like 3 days until the streets are significantly plowed, I have that option, and that is a huge stressor completely removed from my
big
life.
time.
So that has been a game changer ever since I started working from home. When I got COVID in 2023, it was the first time I worked from home, and it was a game changer. So there you go. I think that's about all I wanted to say about seasonal affective disorder. So let's move on to another album.
All right.
This is a weird one, but it's my favorite album of all time. And going back to the sort of that primal scream thing, I think it's very important. If you feel angry, it's very important to get that anger out in healthy ways, not destroying something, not hurting yourself, but physically banging your head to some heavy music. And this is my go-to, Disturbing the Priest in particular. That has to be one of the heaviest songs. That has to be one of the heaviest songs in the history of Black Sabbath.
That riff there.
Oh, it's such a great riff, and the bass line is so good. And this album's really bass heavy.
Love that album, by the way.
Hang on, I'm going to do something really creepy.
Love.
There we go. How's that look?
Oh, yeah. That's great. Not good for my channel, but...
This one goes back to Bob Schipper, back to the old days. He told me about this song called Zero the Hero. So, it does have that warm nostalgia to it as well, of me and him listening to it together.
Yeah.
But it is a heavy album, and when I do feel that kind of like rage, the devil and the priest can't exist if one goes away. It's just like the battle of the sun and the moon and the night and day. I love this album so much.
Oh, yeah.
And like you can see me smiling. That's legit.
You can see me smiling.
There you go.
Disagreeing with you.
So yeah, like nothing really.
That riff
That's Zero the Hero right there. Yeah. So, nothing really specific about it except that sometimes when you've got that pent up rage and you need to physically get it out of your body, this is the album that I go to. I'm not going to get this out of a Blue Rodeo album.
No.
So, yeah, that's my pick for that round. Black Sabbath, Born Again.
Okay, so to sort of match your for energy and all that, I'm going to go with I'll show it first there. Iron Maiden, The Number of the Beast. This is an original, came out in 1982.
You can tell because it has the blue background instead of the black background.
Yes. And there you go. And my mom, rest her soul, I bugged her. So, to make a long story short, in Kirkland Lake, that's where my hometown is, there was a street sale that day. So, a lot of stores were like putting stuff out on the sidewalk, if you know what I mean there. There was maybe one or two main streets there in Kirkland Lake, but enough to fill your day. And my neighbor was the one that was babysitting me, and he introduced me to this album. And just by chance, he showed me and my mom that album was going to be on sale on that certain day of well, I bugged my mom all day. It's like, Mom, are you going to get me that album? Mom, are you going to get me that album? Mom, are you going to get all, like, like the, like a Simpsons.
Are we there yet?
Yeah, exactly. You're gonna, and after the end, it's like, fine. But we were going to go to the music store anyway. I knew that. And then she saw this album cover. She goes, is this any good? Oh, yeah. I hadn't heard a note. I just went by reputation that this looked cool. And I'll always remember when I got home, and anyway, thanks to my mom for buying me that album, because that to me was a game changer, full of energy. And it was different than I had at that time. I had 5 albums to my name. It was all Kiss and Peter Criss Out of Control. Then I got that. Yeah, that's Peter Criss Out of Control. I'll defend it to a point. But then I got this. I was like, oh my God, what is this? This is so good. And I'll defend that this is my favorite Maiden album. But I am going to go with, oh my God, The Prisoner. I'm going to, just because, like, and I don't know if you know what this song is based off of.
Dude, it's 50 years of Iron Maiden here, man.
No. Okay, I'm not talking to you, but I'm talking to the people, I guess. But
yeah,
but Mike, no, no, I have them all on DVD, and just for someone just wanting to escape and be free and be like, to me, that song hit me so much during that bullying time too there. And I don't know, it was just like, oh, you want to just be, free from all that bullying, just like that guy wants to be free or escape from the village. I just wanted to, like, I remember one time, again, from my birth until 1984, I lived in Kirkland Lake. I was a pretty popular guy with my crowd. Okay, you move here, new town, and suddenly you just aren't as cool and loved as you were. And then, but that song and I remember coming home one time because someone had teased me, and I still remember that I was on my bike, and there was the hot girl, we all know what that, and two guys on their bikes, and like it was a street like that. They were on this street, just standing there in the middle of the street because it wasn't. And I went like this, and someone yelled, "Oh, that guy again!" And then the hot girl, "Oh yeah, he's in my class." I was like, "Wow, okay." I went home crying almost. I want to move back to Kirkland Lake, like this, and nobody's ever said that in their life. I want to move back from Ottawa to Kirkland Lake, from a 1 million to a probably less than 100,000. No, it's even worse than that. It's probably like 11,000. Sorry, not 100,000. Anyway, I wanted to go back home, like to my original town so bad. It was just such a bad, like, with my immediate friends, high school was great, but everything else seemed to be anyway. So yeah, to me, The Prisoner is thematically, or like we're talking about, just hit me just because this guy just wanted out of this big mess. And same the way that I felt is I wanted out of that effing mess that I was in high school and intermediate. So there you go.
A song comes to mind by Halloween. I want out.
Oh.
I want out to live my life. I want out. That's a great one.
Out. That's easily their most popular song. Yeah.
Yeah. Brilliant song. Man, I can relate to that. Although I never switched schools and had to start over really the way you did, but just it's that guy. I felt
that
way.
one. This was in grade 8. I remember these. Well, like anything else in life, everybody remembers negative comments, or even companies. They'll always fixate on what you did wrong. Nobody's ever there to tell you, "Oh, you did this great today," or you know what I mean. There, same thing with that. There's like I'm just transfixed on all the wrong and the bad stuff that happened to me during that time. So anyway, that's that. By the way, I tried putting the link to our episode in the chat. It doesn't work. It won't let me.
Do it after the show.
Okay.
I'm trying. Sorry, I was just fiddling with some settings here, and I thought maybe I'd fixed the issue where I'm really loud in my own headphones, but I can't fix it. Okay.
But Henry Wright wrote something about The Prisoner.
Yes.
When I was a kid, I thought, we want information. I thought it was Bruce Dickinson talking to Dave Murray. For some reason, I thought, and then you're like, but this sketch makes no sense until you actually watch the intro to the TV show. I'm like, oh my God, okay, that it's longer. They just chopped. But yeah, at the time I thought it was Bruce Dickinson talking to Dave Murray.
We have a good question here.
For understanding, there are more or less than same number. Okay, so you want to know something about French? Ottawa, I live in a suburb of Ottawa, which is Orleans, which is actually, I would say 50-50 or maybe 60-40 French. But I grew up in Kirkland Lake, which is almost a borderline Anglophone town. And my mom, I'll thank my mom for that. She's the one that stuck to, we got to keep our French roots and all that. Well, and I'm actually glad I actually moved out of Kirkland Lake in a way, because I would have lost my friends in another way. And I'll explain why. Our high school it was one building, but divided in two. And one half was English, one half was French. What did we do when we were kids, we talked English during recess. We were in a French school, and that pissed off my mom like you would not believe. So I know for a fact she would have never wanted me to go to the English. And I'm not saying this against English people. That had nothing to do with that. She wants to preserve her like our French heritage and all that. So she would have put me into the French. And I learned once I moved here that my two best friends went into the English. I couldn't believe that. I understand because we were talking English anyway. Then I moved to Orleans. And again, my first day of school, I didn't know anybody. So I'm just standing there, just looking at people. And I couldn't believe it. Everybody was talking French outside of school. I'm like, what is this? I didn't understand that. That was quite the culture shock for me. So yeah, Ottawa's fairly French, or half and half, I would say there, depending on the region there. But there you go.
Oh, sorry. Everybody was speaking French outside of school, but it was like the English school inside.
Yeah, well, when we were playing outside in recess, we were talking English to each other. In between classes, we would be talking to English with each other. We were in a French school. That pissed off my mom because every time you have your report card and it's like French talking in class C. Oh, holy crap, that did not go well. So, but it goes with the area because I don't know. I don't know why we were talking in English because we were French people. When I moved here, I couldn't believe it. I'm like, where am I? Why are people talking French? Is this normal? Like to me, it wasn't normal to talk French in recess or on your spare time. Weird.
Interesting though. Are you equally fluent in both?
Yeah, big time.
Cool. All right.
I am French. And now you're gonna get me talking there, and my accent's gonna.
Your next album has to be entirely in French, but no, we don't need to do that. Yeah, moving can be tough. I know Matthias has talked about this with me before, and yeah, they do. I know. Yeah, they prey on fresh fish.
Oh, big time.
Oh,
that would be my.
I know. I don't know what that says, but I do know that my mother-in-law would hit you with a rolling pin if you said that.
And okay, for Martin's comment, when I moved here, I wouldn't say it with an O, but an E instead of an O, ST. And that was hugely popular. I had never even heard of that word until I moved here in '84. So
I don't want to get in trouble with my mother-in-law. So we're gonna move on from this. I'm gonna show you another album.
Okay.
Okay, I got actually 3 in 1. The Arkells. I've talked about this many, many, many times on my show, but I was feeling really depressed, really 2023 through to 2024. I was not doing well, and I was specifically seeking out music that was new, that was upbeat, that was Canadian, and I thought I'd already owned the High Noon album on vinyl. I'd bought it a long time ago, but I hadn't played it in a long, long time. So I was like, I'm gonna give that a shot again. And it just hit me. It just hit me, and I binged and I bought all of their albums. These were the first 3 that I bought: Michigan Left, Morning Report, and High Noon. Those were my first 3, and mostly, I mean, they do have slow ballads and depressing songs too, but a lot of really good upbeat stuff here. Lyrics that I found inspiring. Very, very Canadian lyrics as well. There's a lot of songs about being from Hamilton, Ontario, where they're from. And I don't know, like they just really helped me get through that depressing time. And I binged. I played these albums on repeat over and over and over again until I knew every note, every word. So, that was a long stretch of time before I really kind of bounced back from that. But these guys are to thank for the fact that I am still rocking and rolling. Sometimes you got to dip your toes into some different kinds of music and change the scenery a little bit. Even sonically, changing the scenery can sometimes be a very good thing.
Oh yeah.
And I needed sort of like a sonic reset, and I got it. Oh, that really sucks. No, I'm sorry to hear that. Yeah, the Falklands War. I do remember the Falklands War. I was a kid. Dan and I are the same age. So
Mm-hmm.
anyway, Hamilton, Ontario, the Art Cowls. It's not metal. It's sometimes not even rock. But I love these guys. I think they're extremely talented musicians, writers, and everything. And I think they're one of those bands that tries to be sort of like a positive force, a uniting entity in our country. And they're extremely popular with their audience.
Mm-hmm.
And,
I've heard the name. Yeah.
I fully endorse giving these guys a shot if you need a light in the black. But look at this. Gordon Lightfoot, that's a great pick for Johnny Clouser there, another Canadian.
I have the greatest hits of him upstairs, and I kept that from my mom's collection, and I kept it on vinyl.
And this is really that's awful that you had to put up with this, Matthias. That's just terrible. That's the worst thing you could possibly say to a person. Okay, there were a lot of yeah. We were kind of separate from it here in Canada, but I definitely remember it being in the newspapers. I'm sure if you're British, it was, especially if you're living in Argentina and stuff like that. But anyway, what's your next album, Dan?
Okay, so this will be a little bit in relation to why I tend to help out the little bands more than the bigger bands. I'll always have a soft spot for the smaller bands that are trying hard, or big bands that made an album that apparently most people didn't like. Now I'm going to show an album that is considered to be this band's worst. I'll show it right now. Styx Kilroy Was Here. Now, let me explain myself. Again, this has to do with memories and what made me happy. And this also was, I guess that period of 84 when I left Kirkland Lake to come to here was a very big game changer for me mentally, because I was like, but I remembered my last day of school when I was in Kirkland Lake, that song, that album, Mr. Roboto, laugh all you want at the song. That song was it. It was our class's favorite song. Like, you wouldn't believe it. I absolutely love. So I actually went where I guess my mom, this is after the Maiden one, obviously. I want to get that Mr. Roboto. This wasn't metal or soft rock, I guess, prog-ish at times. And I just love this album. Like, how many, and you were talking about airbanding earlier. You know what? How many times I airbanded to, and this might actually surprise you what song. It's Don't Let It End, but the reprise version, if you know what I mean. I love that song as a kid. Love that song. I mean, maybe there's a few little duds here and there, but you know what? This just brings back happy memories of childhood, discovering this. And I'm like, and then of course, you grow older. And it's like, oh yeah, I have, this album, and Styx Kilroy Was Here. Oh, that one sucks by them. They're so much better than, and to me, that's like, musical tastes. It all depends what you were doing when you first heard it. What memories are attached to it. Like, this has great memories attached to it for me. Great memories. It was the last time I saw my friends, the ones I left here. And this will always be like the transition album for me from Kirkland Lake to Ottawa. Now, when I came to Ottawa, all my friends in Kirkland Lake, by the way, I would have never, like, me, I'm a huge Kiss fan. I would have never, I tried to squeeze in some Kiss here and there. Nobody, it was a pop crowd. Like, what was popular at the time there? Synchronicity, The Police, Men at Work, Cargo, or whatever. Stuff like that. That was what people were listening to. But I was alone in my class doing, I talked to you about that when we did the airband for the, yeah. So yeah, that was just a fun, innocent time. But then here it was just, I don't know, a little bit different there. But anyway, I'll defend that album too as much as I can. That just, it brings me back to a happy time. And as much as people do not like that album of Styx, I love it. But for what it means to me, memory-wise, and there you go.
So again, here we are, Dan and I on the same wavelength. That album was basically my grade 5. I was introduced to it by a guy by the name of Alan Runstetler, who is my sort of like my best schoolmate in grade 5, and he's telling me
grade 6 here, yeah. So yeah, we're saying.
And he says to me, he says, "You know what's great about this record? It's not just songs; it tells a story." So I went over to his house, and we're looking at it had a gatefold sleeve.
Yeah.
I don't have my copy anymore. I don't know what happened to it. I must have lost it in a move. But that's what I had. The lyrics on the left there and the pictures on the right, which were from what I didn't realize was like a little miniature film that they made.
I found that out later.
Yeah, but when we're kids, there was no, I don't even think Much Music was out yet. No, Much Music wasn't out yet when that, or if it was brand new. They definitely
It was video hits at that time. Video Samantha
hits.
Taylor.
Yeah. Anyway, I got really deep into Styx, and we had several songs that we always went back to. There was, of course, the title track, Cold War.
Yeah.
Heavy Metal Poisoning. High Time.
Double Life. I love that one.
Double Life. Oh, that was my favorite one.
Oh, I love that one.
Schizophrenic and so am I.
I'm gonna say that is actually JY's best song ever.
I love, and his performance.
It's my favorite anyway.
Vocal performance on it is so good. And the other song that we loved was Don't Let It End Reprise at the end. And yeah, that was my album for a long time. And, you know, I thought it was cool in grade 5. I thought it was really cool. And then in grade 6, all of a sudden I found out it's not cool anymore.
I know. I didn't get it.
That was sort of like a big shock to me. It's like I think I found something that I like. And then all of a sudden the next year it wasn't cool. So what's cool the next year? Well, it happened to be Quiet Riot and Mental Health. So I went all in on Quiet Riot, just like I had on Styx before.
Yeah.
Then the next year, Quiet Riot aren't cool anymore. Well, who's cool now? Van Halen. Who's Van Halen? Like, I really felt disoriented. Like, I'm not the kind of person that jumps trends. You and I neither of us are the kind of person that jumps trends. Thank you, Henry, for watching. Really appreciate it.
But you were at that age where you're discovering you're
discovering things. Yes.
Yeah.
Matthias, those of us in Canada know what you're talking about.
Teresa Roncon.
Yeah, in the 90s. She came along in the 90s.
Yeah.
But Erica M in the 80s and
Brown,
and anyway, you and I we liked what we liked because we liked it. We didn't like it because it was popular. So for me to like, okay, I like Quiet Riot now. Quiet Riot's my thing. Oh, they're not cool anymore. I'm like, what the? So I basically learned at a very early age, just like what you like. Don't try to follow trends. And it turns out this Van Halen group that they were talking about was pretty good, and I liked them too. But it's not like I gave up on Quiet Riot because they're not cool anymore. I was shocked. I was like, "What do you mean they're not cool anymore? When did that happen? I never got the memo. Like I didn't know." But it's true. They were not cool anymore. And by 85 or whatever.
Oh yeah.
For me, Johnny, it was 1984, but I think that speaks just to the age difference between us. Okay, I have one more album. One more. And this is a shout out to I'm happy to say somebody that I would like to call my friend, and that would be Broadway Blotto from the band Blotto. And this is the most lighthearted of all the music. And we showed this off in the first mental health episode too. I was talking about an episode that happened in 2018 with my poor mother-in-law. But this album continues to be a bright, shining light for me. And I play it at work frequently. Not the record, obviously, but that would
you have your own turntable at work, eh?
Yeah, I mean, I could. I have enough desk space, but I think if I brought in the turntable, they'd be like, "I don't think that guy needs as much desk space as we're giving him. Let's give him a smaller office."
Or let's go to Mike's office there for relaxation. There you
go. There's one lady at work. She said something to me, and I had to laugh. She said, "Oh man, Mike's always in his office playing his punk rock."
Yeah,
punk rock. Guess to somebody of a certain age, it all sounds like punk rock.
Oh yeah. I know exactly that.
It's like the amount of punk rock that I play in my office is like not even a 1%. But okay.
Or your screaming music.
Right. Yeah. My screaming music.
How not screaming? Like I anyway. Yeah, I totally get what you're saying.
Anyway, this one's a bright spot for me. It still to this day makes me laugh. It makes me air guitar. makes me sing along. I love this album. I really think it's 10 great songs in a row. They have different styles of music on this album, from heavy metal with a metal head to just more like rock and roll. My favorite song in this album is a song called "It's Not You." We've talked about that one on the show before, but another great song is called "I Quit." And maybe if you're frustrated at your job, listen to the song "I Quit." You can't fire me. I quit.
Well, that was simple and to the point.
Yep. But, there's one track on here that continues to make me smile every time I hear it, and it's "Goodbye, Mr. Bond."
Oh.
And is my image mirrored? I just realized that now. Everything I'm showing you.
No, it's perfect.
Oh, to me, it's backwards. It's mirrored.
No, I see Blotto, not Autob.
Okay. You know what? Obviously my settings, I'm going to need to play with them. This is the first time that we've live streamed, and I need to play with my settings because from my experience, everything's messed up.
No, they're perfect.
But
don't touch it.
Good. If you were out in the wild and you find the album Combo Akimbo by Blotto, I highly recommend you give it a try. I find it to just be a delight every single time I play it. I am not into comedy rock like Steel Panther, for example.
Mm-hmm.
I have very few things that are funny that I like to listen to in musical form. Spinal Tap being one of the few. It's very clever. I don't think Steel Panther is clever.
No,
but Spinal Tap is clever. This is also clever. It's very smart, and the musicianship is excellent. If that sounds like it's for you, I recommend you pick up Combo Akimbo to brighten your day.
I hadn't even never heard of that band until you mentioned it.
Well, maybe it's because I'm from Ontario and they're from Albany, New York, and they're sort of like, that's really not that far compared to Ottawa. I don't know.
I may have heard the name, but that's about it.
I really don't know, Dan. I mean, they used to play Metalhead on the Power Hour back in the day, so it's very possible that you heard it and you don't remember it.
Yeah, maybe.
Somewhere in Time is a big one, Matthias.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
my grade 9 year, man.
My second fave.
That's yeah. For me, I don't have any complaints on that album, man. I love everything about it. But Dan, that leaves it to you to wrap up the show with your final album. So I hope you saved a good one for last.
I didn't. So, it's one that is actually considered the second worst out of these 4 albums. You may know exactly where I'm going with this. We talked about it in my episode that you and I did also. So I'm going to defend this, and I'll show it to you right now. See how old this is? This was given to me there's duck. I don't know if you can see the duct tape there or the black tape. So my neighbor who introduced me to Kiss, I did not understand what Kiss was when I first got the album. My neighbor gave me all 4. And for some reason, this one clicked with me big time. And as a kid, I mean, my parents, not that they were poor, but they weren't rich either. We had a place here in Kirkland Lake, and it's actually a brilliant thing for kids. You've heard of a library. Well, these guys had a toy library. So you can actually go and rent a toy free for a week. Then you bring it back. So that's where I rented a whole bunch of Star Wars figures, or the big things, or the models like the Millennium Falcon or stuff. You could actually take that out. And I didn't have a tape deck player because he gave me this. The 4 of them on an album, and Ace Frehley and Gene Simmons on cassette also. So at that toy library, he gave me, I rented, or I guess, a little tape recorder and you know what song I was putting on repeat was Man of a Thousand Faces. I love the instrumentation on that. And I was 12, maybe even 11 or 10. And I'm like, I love this little musical change. To me, he gets a lot of crap as he's too Hollywood. Or to me, this is what a solo album should sound like. Should be a little bit different. I mean, let's not go off course like Peter Criss did there, but Paul Stanley is basically a Kiss record. Ace Frehley was the surprising one. I'll give it credit where credit due, but this one has always been, because he's the reason I wanted to be a bass player. He's I mean, at 53, I don't really have heroes I look up to like these guys, but there was nothing this guy could do wrong. To me, this was the guy I wanted to be and idolize. And I have listened to this album like so many times, and everybody's like, what's your favorite of the Kiss solo album? Well, Gene Simmons. What? Like, but I love it for its diversity. There's a couple of duds here. I don't like Mr. Make Believe. I never did.
Oh, really? Because I love that song.
Yeah, it doesn't really. I don't hate it. It's just my least favorite.
Oh.
I think "See You in Your Dreams" is better on here than it is on "Rock and Roll Over" musically. Okay,
It's
but yeah,
recorded.
this whole I didn't understand at 11 what "Tunnel of Love" was about. It was a teacher.
Song is probably "Tunnel of Love."
It was a teacher that told me. He goes, "Oh yeah, Tunnel of Love. I bet you know what he's talking about." Then it got me thinking, like, oh yeah. So yeah, this got me through like and I remember when I had that on cassette, I was walking around with that little, it was like a portable cassette deck with it was beige. I don't think it was Fisher Price there, but
Fisher Price.
was it
the one in mono? It was.
I forget, but it was beige or beigeish brownish.
Yes,
and you were able to
like
hold
a tank. It had the handle at the top.
Yeah, and you would put, and that Man of 1,000 Faces just clicked with me.
It's
clicked.
So good. It's got the strings, like the strings are the dominant. Yeah.
Oh, it's I call it orchestration there, but yeah. I know exactly what you mean. But yeah, I love that that album. But yeah, it's what I had 5 albums to my name. Like I said, I had 4 solo albums, the Iron Maiden, Peter Criss, Out of Control, because my neighbor thanked me for doing his paper run, so he paid me back with that album. I'll take anything free.
Album. It's not bad.
Yeah,
it's very soft in parts.
Yes,
he opens it up with one of the softest ballads.
But that's all I had. So as a kid, well, you're just listening to those 5 albums, and I played the crap out of those 5 albums, 5, 6, or whatever there. So not until I moved here that I actually started buying new material when it was released. So yeah, I'm gonna go with the Gene Simmons one. I know it's not a popular choice. I don't care.
Exactly, that's the whole point.
But I find it to me that is what a real solo album should be. So there you go, Gene Simmons with.
If you're true to yourself and your own taste.
Oh yeah, and I'm done with being like picked on you. Like probably in that time with that bullying there, I probably wouldn't have been. Yeah, you're right. Now I don't care anymore. Right. I'm just like, I like it. Yep. Deal with it. So there you go.
So I promised Matthias that I would tell the story of my first Walkman. So let's do that before we wrap it up. It also involves this album. So what happened was I was just starting the 8th grade, and my next door neighbor, who was like 4 years older than me, he was a huge Kiss fan, and I knew that he was only missing, I think at that time, 3 Kiss albums. The Elder, Killers, and Hotter Than Hell, if I remember correctly. It was those 3.
Okay.
Well, I got a phone call, and it was this guy from school, Ian Johnson, and he really wanted my Atari 2600 game, Superman. Well, it wasn't my game. It was my sister's game, but I traded it. I traded it for Kiss Alive and Kiss Hotter Than Hell, which I thought was a pretty good trade. I mean, though my sister still is very upset that I traded her Atari game away, the fact that it started off my lifelong obsession with Kiss.
There you go.
She forgives me now. But I traded it for those 2 albums, and I thought to myself, George needs Hotter Than Hell. Maybe I can flip this and get more stuff. So I phoned him. He lived next door. I phoned him. I said, George, do you still need Hotter Than Hell by Kiss? And he goes, why? I said, I have one. And he goes, I'll be right over. He hangs up the phone. No goodbye, no nothing. He just hangs up the phone. knock on the door, or doorbell. It was a scratched up. It was a shit copy of Hotter Than Hell. But I got out of that trade my first Walkman, Black Sabbath Paranoid on cassette, Iron Maiden Flight of Icarus 12-inch single.
Oh, wow.
An Abbott and Costello record, Who's on First, which I in turn gave to my dad for Christmas that year. And there might have been a couple of other things involved in that trade. I think there was a 7-inch single as well. I can't remember for sure, but I know for sure my very first Walkman, Black Sabbath Paranoid, Flight of Icarus, and the Abbott and Costello record. So that night, from trading my sister's Atari 2600 game, I got all that stuff, my first Kiss album, and then I made him tape Hotter Than Hell to me as part of the deal as well. So I also had Hotter Than Hell to listen to. And I spun this record, not this copy, obviously, because this is a reissue.
Yeah.
I still have my original, but I spun it on the companion to the cassette deck that you had, the Fisher-Price cassette deck. I had the beige and brown turntable, the record player. I had both. So for the longest time, until my parents gave me their turntable to use for myself, for the longest time, I spun Kiss Alive on that shitty Fisher-Price turntable and in mono. And that was how it got started. So Matthias, that was my very first Walkman.
Did you have, so my first turntable was probably about the Mickey Mouse one, where it opened up like a case, and then the needle was Mickey Mouse's hand. So you'd lift it up and you'd put it on and it would play like records. It was just, yeah, it's the Mickey Mouse Disney turntable. That was like, I had that. I was like, the best thing ever, but it wasn't a great record player. It played records, just wasn't the best thing ever there, but it did the job.
Give me 1 second. I'm just going to put a picture of my turntable up on the screen here. One moment, because I can do this with StreamYard. Share screen. We want this. There we go. Share. Can you see it? There it is.
Hey, there you go. Yeah,
So
I've seen that.
Yes, and your tape deck had the same colors.
It was like see the top there,
Yeah,
and not the turntable, but what's surrounding the whitish beige there.
the beige.
That it
and
was
the
those
brown.
colors, and I do remember a little bit of the red. You know where the dials are?
Yep.
I think there was a little bit of red like that, but it was a tape deck. Yeah.
Yes, I had the same tape deck, and yeah, so that's the turntable that I'm talking about, that I played Kiss Alive on that night. So there you go. It's been a good show and a great audience turnout tonight, and I hope that we may have provided some information that may help people out tonight. By all means, if you have questions, send me a message. I'll be happy to try to point you in the right direction. And Dan, thanks for sharing everything tonight. Really appreciate that.
And I would say just stay true to yourself, guys. Don't
stay true to yourself.
Don't pretend to be somebody else just to try to fit in. Be true to yourself. It'll pay off at the end. Something might be difficult right now or whatever, but I find it just like you're trying to please too many people, and you're not being true to yourself. So
make time for yourself.
Yeah.
Be assertive when you need to be. Don't let people necessarily take all of your time and energy if you don't have you have only so much in your cup, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So here's your cup. If people are starting to drain your cup, you've got to save some for yourself. And that's very important. Do not be afraid to say, I'm sorry, but I just don't have the gas in the tank to help you right now. I need to take care of myself.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid to assert for yourself. And thank you, Johnny. Really appreciate that. We're going to go out on a song. And you mentioned being true to yourself. Well, there's one person in this world that is always true to themselves and always has been. That is my good buddy, Uncle Meat, who was in the comments earlier tonight. And this is a song about being true to yourself. It's called Open Door Piss. So we'll see you next time on Grab a Stack of Rock. Check out Dan on Off. See, it's my mirrored monitor.
See,
I'm Off the Charts.
You're here, yeah.
On YouTube, he's got great stuff. He just posted I guess an interview, you might say, a chat with Weird Al Yankovic super fan today. So I'm going to check that video out. Let me put it this way. What she made for Weird Al Yankovic was a wow moment. I couldn't believe it. Was just so
And she, anyway, I'm not going to spoil the, but yeah, it was worth it.
And thank you, Keith. Yeah, we did 2 episodes before this. One with Jax Russell and Tim Derling and John Clauser, and then the second one was just John and myself. So check those out. There's a playlist on my channel called Music and Mental Health, and the videos are in that playlist. So thank you for watching. This is a little song about being true to yourself, and it's called Open Door Piss. Take care, everybody. Have a great Friday night and a great weekend.
Take care.
Ciao.
Just what was new, but the DJ is playing Motley Crue. I threw the damn thing down the stairs, seemed like the thing to do. Then I ripped the bloody door right off the loo. Because when your day starts just like this, an open door piss. When I hear Nikki says an open door piss. Don't care if you're not impressed, an open door piss. Did I mention I was a house guest, an open door piss. Heading out this evening to meet up with my boys. For a couple beers we'll make a little noise. Checked out the telly to find out what's the score. But the Patriots, they ain't no good no more. I threw that telly on the floor, then caught shit from the man. So I made a beeline straight for the can. Because when your evening starts like this, an open door piss. When Tom Brady leaves the Patriots, an open door piss. Hey, I almost never miss an open door piss. Everybody take a look at this, an open door piss. Don't care about your rules, don't live my life to please you fools. If you don't like it, turn the other way. That's what I say. Like Desmond Child writing songs with Kiss, an open door piss. Like 90s ballads from Aerosmith, an open door piss. When the Jays can't get no hits, an open door piss. When your socks they smell like this, an open door piss. When you just don't give a shit,